Hey, I'm glad you're here for another episode of Fantastic Friday. I'm your host, Jonathan Frederick. And on today's Fantastic Friday, we talk about hunger and ambition. Welcome back. I am glad you're with us today. Today's Fantastic Friday topic is short and sweet. If you're no longer early humble, you're not hungry. And I would argue that to my death. If you're not still early humble, you're not actually hungry. A lot of people would get mad about that. And to be honest with you, I've seen a lot of people who are actually successful at this point. They're actually very successful and wealthy in every area, or almost every area of their life, who are not displaying early humility. So what do I mean by that? I'll tell you a story. Back when I first started my podcast, back when I was initially starting this journey, I was more humble in my approach to acquiring guests, to meeting people, than I am now. And it's just part of what happens as you progress. I don't know that I was more humble, or that my approach was more humble. And I am all about maintaining authenticity and being congruent and genuine in the way you approach your business and your life and connecting with other people. The beauty of early hungry and early humility, you have virtually very little tangible things to offer to people you're asking for help or inviting on. This is where it is important to train your social awareness, your self-awareness, and emotional intelligence to word your invitations in ways that elicit feelings of, this is actually going to benefit you. And it does. I'm not saying it didn't or it doesn't, but it is something that in your head you're thinking, you have to believe. I mean, you have to believe that you have something to offer early on to acquire or to have the caliber guests that you want to deliver to your audience, your community, your listeners. And that's just an example of me as a podcast host. So with starting this podcast and with starting my business of media marketing, I feel that my approach, when you're early hungry, you have nothing. You have nothing tangible. You have a vision, you believe in it, and you have faith that it's going to work out. All of that's crucial, yes. What this episode is about is the importance of early hungry, and how I would argue that if you're not early humble, not hungry, early humility, if you're not still walking with that, then you're probably not hungry. One of my largest fears of succeeding past my wildest dreams is that I would lose my hunger, my edge, or my drive. Ed Mylett, a past guest, talks about maintaining a blissful dissatisfaction, and he encourages people to enjoy the present, relish in it, but also to maintain a slight dissatisfaction. He shares that a lot of people burn out because they don't allow themselves to celebrate and to enjoy the progress that they've been making. And the reason a lot of us don't is because we're afraid that if we do that, we'll lose our drive, our motivation, our edge, our hunger. That's fair to be cautious around that. It can be easy to fall down the steps, so to speak, if you celebrate a little too hard or a little too much or a little too often. However, it is important to acknowledge the wins and to keep pressing on, keep pushing forward. This hit me the other day as I was actually speaking with a prospective guest for the Heart Healthy Hustle. I was like, John, are you approaching this with the same humility that you approached your very first guest? I thought to myself, and I had to be honest, I was thinking no. And then I immediately asked, why? Why not? How come? What is wrong with your approach? Why would you not continue to approach it with the same early humble that you did in the beginning? And it hit me. I was like, oh, well, I've already had some big name guests on the show. I don't have to be as humble anymore. This show is more legit now. I've had this much consistency, this much feedback, this much success thus far. That is a very, very quick way to get knocked back to negative or to zero or to the beginning, because what I believe is that I cannot maintain, or I cannot consistently improve this podcast and my business without maintaining the early humble and the hunger. So then I ask, oh, am I still hungry? And if not as hungry, then why not? Just let that soak in. This is incredibly important as you find your first levels of success and achievement. Do not settle, to realize you're going to have to leave behind things you're good at to find what you're best at. And that came from Dr. Dean Ron Walborn from episode, I believe it was 51. Again, that's, you have to be willing to leave behind what you're good at to find what you're best at. So you may be doing something right now, you're getting applause, people are liking it, you're getting a lot of notoriety, and then you realize, hey, you know what? I really like this, but this isn't what I'm supposed to do long term. When you realize that, so for example, let's say you go to work and you do a great job, but you know you're only giving it 80% to get that applause from your coworkers. Well, what if you decide to give it 100%? What happens then? Or what if you decide to leave behind that job because it's become too easy for you and you go jump into something else that's challenging again and humbles you and keeps you hungry? So with that, I'll leave the episode there. And I want to invite you to jump over to thehearthealthyhustle.com/Facebook to join our new Facebook community. It's very exciting. You can jump over there anytime and join the conversation. We feature behind the scenes conversations, footage, conversations with you, the listeners. And it's very cool to get into the heads of the community and of people who are guests, future guests, past guests on the show, live calls. So if you listen to more than one episode, then I know you'll enjoy it. Head over there. It's thehearthealthyhustle.com/Facebook. A lot of you guys expressed that you would be interested in a t-shirt, so we have those available. Banner now, and I want your signature on it. I'm excited to be traveling a lot in 2019. I've already have 4 trips scheduled, so I'll be traveling around different areas in the country. Hopefully we can get some meetups going, and it would be fantastic to grab your signature on this banner. And then I want to have this banner in the background of Facebook Live calls. All right, so that's the updates right now. I hope you're having a great holiday season, and if you're going through any hard times this holiday season, as a lot of people have been dealing with loss, actually, of loved ones or friends or family members this time of year, it can be really challenging. So my heart goes out to you and your family, your loved ones. Keep your head up, and I hope that you have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you on Monday. Godspeed. Fearless.